This is Abby with Up All Night Book Blog, and I'm here with Courtney Cole. She recently released Nocte, and we wanted to talk with her a little bit about the release. So again, I do apologize for the delay, little technical difficulties. So I wanted to give Courtney a moment to say hello.
Hi guys. I wasn't expecting it to go live because we were messing with it. But thank you for being here, and I'm sorry that we were late.
Courtney, can you tell us a little bit about Nocte?
Well, it's pronounced Nocte.
Sorry.
It means by. I get asked all the time how you pronounce it. It means by night in Latin, and it's about twins, Calla and Finn. They're 18, and Finn is crazy, and her love interest is Dare Dubray. And the problem with the book is that I can't tell you a lot about it because nothing is as it seems like it is, and so people are like, the book kind of starts out slower, unlike the rest of my books. My books usually start off with a bang, like you just jump right in, and this book starts off slower and you have to kind of really get into it, and then all of a sudden it's all flipped over and you're like, what the heck just happened? So I can't tell you any more than that.
So my next question was, this is a lot different than your other books, and can you tell us a little bit about how your inspiration and even how insomnia had a role to play in this?
Well, I am a hopeless insomniac. I have been my whole life. Like, I was a kid and I was an insomniac, but that didn't really even what happened was this idea has been in my head for several years, and I have a friend who's a mortician, and I remember I was at dinner with her one time, and she was telling stories about the funeral home because they live there, and I was just wondering, what would that be like, and what would that be like if you were an 18-year-old girl and had been raised in that house? What would happen? And then the story kind of evolved from there, and it was the twist, because people, when they first started off, they say, well, it doesn't seem so dark, and then they get to the twist and they're like, oh yeah, it is. So I wasn't sure. It is just very different from the rest of my books because it doesn't focus on it's hard to explain, but it alternates points of view between Calla and her brother, not Calla and her love interest. And so it has a really creepy, crazy kind of vibe to it, and it doesn't alternate only around the romance, which is what most of my books do. I think that's the main difference.
So you almost didn't write this because it took you a long time to put it out. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I rewrote it 4 times. I had, when I very first started it, I had written several chapters, and my agent read it, and she said, I think this is too dark. She said, it's not dark in the conventional sense. It's not dark like, Captivate, or what is that, Captive in the Dark or whatever. It's not like that. It's a different kind of dark. It's like, just because of what happens, it's just kind of dark. And my agent said, I don't think that you should do this the way it is. And I'm like, but I don't really want to do it otherwise. So I tried to write it in a different way, and I just didn't like it. And I tried, another time too. So I ended up writing it 4 different times. And finally I just said, you know what, this is the way it has to be, and I'm going to write it this way. And she was like, well, I don't know that traditional houses are going to want to pick this up. And I'm like, fine, I'll do it indie. So I did it indie, my way.
What type of research did you have to do for it?
A lot, because Finn has schizoaffective disorder. I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know a lot. And so I talked to psychologists. I interviewed people with schizophrenia. They have this really cool, what do you call it? This thing where you have this, I forget what you call it, but you have this thing in your ear with people whispering. It's a simulator of what people people hear when they're incredibly enlightening, because you can't even think past, I mean, these voices are whispering and you know they're not real, but you still can't like function. It's really hard. And so that was really enlightening. But no, there was a lot of research that went into this book.
When I read it, that's what I thought. I was like, wow, she probably had to do a lot to go into it. Um, I love the name Dare Dubray. Can we talk about him a little bit?
Of course we can. I love him.
How is he different for you from your other males that you've written about?
Well, he was different in the same way that the story was different, in that he wasn't the main focus in this story, in this book. He is a third, like there's Callett and Finn and then Dare. And so he kind of took the back burner a lot, but then he didn't. So he's different in that I couldn't focus on him as much as I wanted to in this book, but we'll see a lot more of him in the sequel, Verum.
Without giving it
because usually with my main men, like,
I'm sorry, usually with your
what
main
now?
men. Without giving, I guess I'll just carry on. You said usually with your main men.
Usually with my main men, I mean, like, that's really what drives a story. And so in this particular, Dare has so much more story that people don't know about, and so much more story driving, you know, what's going to drive the next book, and I just wasn't able to explore it in this book. And so I hope that people are curious enough about him that they want to know more, but I guess I'll have to wait and see when the next book comes out.
Without giving any of the plot away, can you tell us like what some of your favorite scenes were to write? Without giving it away, I know that's hard. But like, he's an artist, and so for me, I liked when he was drawing her. So there's some nice things like that. I think we can, you know, character things that won't give anything away.
Yeah, I loved that one. I loved the cemetery scene at the end with the dragonfly. That was one of my favorites. I was like crying at my keyboard, you know, like, just because, you know, I'm a character writer so much, like I get into their head, and so when in an emotional scene like that, then I'm pretty much really emotional too while I'm writing it, and so I'm sitting here crying writing that scene with the dragonfly, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, so that was one of my favorites. But really the whole thing was so fun to write because of the setting. The dark cliffs and the scary, creepy, you know, all of that. And Oregon is so beautiful anyways, and so the whole thing was just fun to write.
I would say I had a very good visual the entire way through of, you know, where they live in a funeral home, and there's a home next to it, and there's this cliffs and bluffs if you haven't read it yet. And so in my head, I saw all these different things, and then the beach down below, you know, where the bluffs were. So I would say as just a regular reader reading it, I saw all of those things that you needed us to see, and you painted a very good picture. I do have some questions that we can open up from some people. Kiki wants to know what you did before you were a writer.
Hi, Kiki. I worked in an international marketing department for the company that makes military Humvees, and so it was really fun because I could talk to people around the world all the time. That's what I did, and so that was what I did.
And then
corporate world.
You just quit and decided I'm going to be a writer full time, or was it a lot slower?
That's pretty much what I did. Yeah. I've always been a writer. I've always written, like, you know, as a hobby or, you know, in my spare time or whatever. And I just started to write. And when I built up enough momentum, I told my husband, I said, I can't do both these things anymore. You know, I have to pick one or the other. And obviously, I'm going to be a writer. So.
Right. Fantastic. Okay. Joelle wants to know, what was your inspiration for writing Nocte? Sorry.
Could you repeat that?
Joelle wants to know what your inspiration was for writing this one.
Oh, my inspiration was, I don't even really know. It just, I had a friend who was a mortician, and I just tried. It always kind of fascinated me that people, morticians' families, they don't always, but a lot of times they live above them, above the actual business, and that has always fascinated me. I'm like, I wouldn't want to live in a house with, dead people downstairs. I get creeped out enough in the dark as it is. Like when I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, okay, there's nothing out there. That's not a noise. If that was actually a dead body down the hall from me, I would not sleep for a year. I don't care. And so that's just what I was just really fascinated by that, and that's kind of where I started.
Oh, when I was reading, I was like, does embalming fluid smell? Like, is it really smelly? Did you do
It
research on
does.
that?
Yes, it
Like,
does
I had no
smell.
idea. I I guess I'd never
It
thought about
smells.
the scents from a funeral home.
A lot of it's like formaldehyde type stuff. It smells really bad.
Oh, that's ranch. Um,
Mm.
okay, I have another question uh, from Dawn. She said you have a variety of books, and she wants to know like where the different ideas come from. So that's kind of on some of the same line as where we were before. But you do from Pax to Luca. You have some paranormal, some things that are almost kind of in between, almost right, and then very alpha males, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I started off doing paranormal, and because that's just what I wanted to write, and then I just kind of evolved and changed what I was interested in, I guess. And I just flitted from thing to thing as it occurred to me. I wrote it, and um, I think my voice is best served to stay in like the young adult, new adult type stuff. But like the Minaldi legacy, though, that was really fun for me too. So it's hard for me to pick one thing, I guess. I guess I just have like writer's ADD or something, basically.
That's funny. What do you work? Well, can we talk a little bit about how at the end of Nocte it talked about reader involvement in the next book? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes. At the end, there's a website in the back of your Kindle or your Nook, and or your iPad, and you go there and you're given symbols, and the symbols are scribbled in Finn's journal here and there, but you're given symbols and you vote, and that is going to help determine Callus' fate in Verum, which I'm writing right now. So
So
every
you
day
get
I look at those vote tallies, and yeah, every day I look at those vote tallies, and I see how people voted from the day before and how they voted overall, and that is helping me create my plot, basically.
so you don't have it completely decided yet on
But
how you want it to go?
not exactly, no. I know, uh, I pretty much do, and I know one of two things is going to happen. And so the thing is with the website and the symbols, people don't know exactly what they're voting on, because just like Nocte, you don't know exactly what's going on until you do. The same is true for the website. So I wanted to kind of stick with the mysterious thing.
Don wants to know, will you do two different endings? You
No, no, that would be cool, but I don't think with the way this book is, and I think it's going to surprise you. It wouldn't be good. It kind of has to be a definite ending.
in the second book, will she go to college?
I can't really say anything
That's
about the
okay.
specific right now.
I
Uh,
understand.
try
There's
though. Yeah.
certain things where you're like, I don't know if I could ask that or not.
No, I totally can answer it, but I just can't. But it might be fun to write an alternate ending, but it won't be like I don't know. We'll see.
Have you thought about any other characters that might emerge from these books? Maybe get something of their own at one
There
point in
is
time?
there's going to be another character. Well, actually, there's going to be another couple characters introduced in this next book, and I don't want to say anything about them now, but I think the readers are going to like them. Yeah.
What has your overall the way the fans have reacted to Nocte been for you? How has that been?
I've been so happy that most people have loved it because, my agent said, "Oh, we can't sell this to traditional houses because it's too dark, it's too twisted." Well, the readers say otherwise. They really like it. So that made me happy. Yeah, they're all most people say I didn't see the twist coming. There have been a couple that said, I saw it, I saw an inkling of it or whatever, but most people, thankfully, they really liked it. So
I
that's
think
good.
the entire way through I was like, okay, it could be this, it could be that, could it be this? Because I knew something was going to happen. So like the whole time I'm trying to figure out exactly what it
Yeah,
was. Whereas,
I would have yeah, and I would have people message me on Facebook. Oh, I tell you something. Dawn, Dawn, she messaged me like, oh, several times while she was reading it. She was like, "What is this?" So, yeah, no, people would message me all the time. Even people I didn't know. They were like, "I'm reading this. I've got to know." Well, you got to read to the end. I'm sorry.
do you have any idea when you
So,
expect your next one to come out?
yeah, Verum. I had to check my board to make sure. Verum comes out February 2nd, and then Lux, which is the third and last book, comes out April 27th.
Oh, so pretty quick together. You're a fast writer. Do
What?
you
Oh,
have
yeah, I am a fast writer. Yeah.
do you have the
But
covers?
this book, though, this book is killing me. I do. I do have the covers. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
They're
They're
beautiful. They're my
beautiful.
favorite covers of.
They might be some
Yeah,
of
they're my
my
favorite. My
favorite
cover
covers of
artist, he did.
they might be some of my favorite covers of
They
any book. So they're gorgeous. They did a great
they're
job on them.
beautiful. They really are. My cover artist, he did himself. When I opened them up, like the first one, I was like, whoa, I literally was like, oh my god, that is just gorgeous. And I told him like, you have to keep the same feel through all three of them, and he really did. Yeah, he did a great job.
Um, do you think that you may end up writing some paranormal in the future, or do you think that you're going to kind of stay in this new adult, like coming of
You
age
know
type of
what?
romance? Or who knows?
I get the urge. Who knows? That's the thing. I will never say never, and I won't. I mean, it's really hard for me because, like I said, I'm really trying to be smarter about branding now and letting people know what they're going to get from me. But I get the itch sometimes to write paranormal, and it is. I know one of these days I'm gonna scratch it because I like paranormal. I really do.
Fantastic. Well, I think that we are just about out of questions and almost about out of time. Is there anything else you want to talk to us about that maybe you have going on or that you're working on or anything that you want to share with us?
Well, I'm working on Bear. My whole office floor is covered in like huge note cards just everywhere. Like when my kids come in, I'm like, don't step on my notes, don't mess those up. So that's pretty much all I'm doing. I mean, in fact I said on Facebook the other day, I'm like, you're not going to see me much because I am pretty much hibernating to get this book done. So that's all I've been working on. But I guess I just want to say thank you for chatting with me and thank you for reading Nocte because I mean, it was the way we released it, we didn't say a lot about it. We wanted people to go in blind. And so I'm really thankful that people took a chance and read it. They didn't have to. And I hope you like book 2 as well.
Have you had anyone spoil it that you've seen? Have you had anybody post spoilers?
Well, I've had people tell me that they read spoilers elsewhere. Thankfully they're not on Amazon or anything, but I've had people say they saw spoilers, which I'm really sad about because I really want people to go into it blind. I mean, that's just the best way to go into it.
That's how I felt. And I'm not even reading
yeah.
the synopsis on the back of it. I knew it was supposed to be a mystery. I'm like, I'm going in so blind, I'm not even going to read the back of it,
And that made it better. I mean, it's just the kind of book where you need to not even know anything about it, just go in and read it. And
right.
A lot of people a lot of people know there's something that happens, and so because they see it, people talking about it, and so they tell me, I was watching for it, I just didn't see it coming, and so as long as they don't know exactly what it is, I'm okay.
Completely understand that one. Um, okay, well, I think we're just about done, and that about covers it. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and
Thank
it, it's been great, and I hope everyone takes a look at both books and any of your work that you have out there. Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's CourtneyColeWrites.com.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you so much, and on behalf of Up All Night Book Blog, we are so thrilled that you joined us. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I will talk to you later.